Hey, welcome to part two. Just quickly reinforcing the texture I'm putting on these troop bases. It's just basically watered down PVA, or that, once again, using the turbo tacky glue. It responds to water really well, better than Elmer's glue or something like that. It really just turns into like almost milk with barely any water to it, which is a good thing for this purpose, where I'm just trying to flood the area, because basically everyone, PVA is basically a plastic, a water-soluble plastic. So this is all going to like really lock this in. And I could add some different textures later on, like grasses and stuff. That'll be after the paint job. And maybe I'll add a couple little rocks here and there. I'm just kind of playing it by ear right now, because this is going to give me a little while to go. I still have to build another one of the drop ships for there. And go. I said Skaltari. Excuse me. On the last, it's the Scourge. That's what comes in the box set. It's UCM, United Colonies of Men, and the Scourge. And I will build that along with this one. And then we'll go in and prime it all together. And then we'll paint separately. I'm not sure which one I'll start with. Like I said, I'm going to use the paint scheme from the book. So I'm probably going to use like a military green with some hard highlights on the UCM, with some dark metals and highlights with that, and then some washes, and then maybe a little bit of pigments around the tires and just areas that look like they'd pick up road dust and dirt. So I'm not sure how it's going to work out. I've never worked in a 10 millimeter scale before, and this is really tiny. This is probably 1/3 the size of a Hot Wheel in size, if you think about it. In a future video, I bought some N-scale vehicles to decorate the board with alongside the buildings to give it a little more character, and I'll show those off in the next couple videos or so. So that is it for right now. We'll be back, and we'll show you as our progress keeps going. Thanks. Real quick peek after I just did all the reinforcement with the watered down glue. You see it's already starting to dry on the edges. It's not losing any of the texture, but it's really going to lock it in. And then we'll hit it with a nice probably Stynylrez primer, and then go from there. As usual, thank you for joining me, and we'll see you in the next part. Okay, we are back. We have the army assembled for the United Colonies of Mankind, or UCM. And now we will move on to the Scourge. And that looks a little really, there's like two pieces. Well, what's that one? Maybe there's a 3-piece one for the Reaper. That was the anti-aircraft gun right there. And then, oh man, this is going to be so much easier to throw together. The dropship may be a little more challenging, but these are really, really simple models to throw together. And with using really thin glue, it is nice to put these together. And easy, and they're clean looking, not a lot of, maybe a little mess up here and there. I don't know, a couple of the smaller pieces. You can see right there a little bit of I put a little too much glue and it got out of control, but that'll be fine. I can like buff it down a little bit, then prime over it. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with the, here's the clear sprue for the other flight stands for the Scourge. And these are the cockpits for the, what do they call these gunships? Condors. And I see most of the examples are, these are painted over and then like a glass highlight on them to make them pop a little bit. I'm going to see what I can do with them. I'd like to see if you can see the little, I can see that on camera right there, a little dude sitting in the cockpit would be kind of cool to keep that and show that little detail. So that is it for right now. We'll be back, and we'll end this part here, and then we'll start with the Scourge. I'll see you in a few.